How'd you go? Good.
You didn't tell Logan, did you?
I told him I was in debt. Good. That's great. That's progress. He offered to loan me the money. Even better.
But?
But I told him I didn't want it and that I would sort it myself.
You idiot.
You know what, Dean? If you're going to keep giving me a hard time, please, just don't say anything.
I am trying to help you. Go back to Logan and tell him that you were wrong. You need his help.
It's done, Dean. I almost sold myself to PK last night. How do you think that makes me feel? Why do you think I couldn't go home last night? I feel disgusting. PK made me feel disgusting.
Yeah, but it isn't your fault. It is that waste of space, PK.
I still chose to be there. And I can't escape that. I have to live with it. So you might not understand, but there is no way I'm asking for Logan's help when I nearly cheated on him. I can't talk about this anymore. What are we going to do?
I don't know.
Simon and Sophie, hello. My name is Sophie Dillman. I play Ziggy on Home and Away, although I think you guys might know that because you have a Home and Away podcast.
Hello and welcome. This is Coastal News, a Home and Away podcast where we unpack the latest week's episodes and discuss the residents, their lives, and all the drama from our favourite fictional town, Summer Bay. Hello everybody, welcome back to Coastal News, a Home and Away podcast. My name is Si. I'm joined as always by your other host, it's Miss Wogan herself. And that will make sense soon. It's Sophie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm really well, thank you.
Good, good.
Yeah, I'm good. It's been it's been summer in Manchester all week.
Yes.
And I've had a lovely week.
That's been lovely.
What about your way?
It's been nice. It's been warm and sunny, but with a bit of a breeze, which is how I like it. So I'm not too hot. You know me in the heat. Don't do too well. It's been lovely. I am a bit emotionally drained though after this week's H&A. So.
I was going to say, this week's Logie Most Popular Drama 2022 H&A. Don't you know?
I know. Well, that was like the high of the week, like last Sunday, finding out that they won. They won the award. Although I think Ray got robbed. Not being funny.
I do. Was it the Lego Master bloke?
Yeah, I think.
If anybody out there from Australia is listening, we're not happy.
No.
About that. And Sophie Dillman, bless her. Our mate Sophie.
Yeah. I know.
Every time she would do it, it's my mate that.
Aww. Love her.
Sent me a cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, award-winning, most popular drama. Obs. We know this.
We knew that.
Do you know what? Well deserved. It's been a fantastic year in the Bay.
Absolutely.
And top to bottom, we've been unpacking it week in, week out on here together, and it's just been amazing. It's been a top year. It's been a ledge of a year, I reckon.
It has, yeah, definitely. And it was just so nice to get that reward for them. That all their hard work's paid off, and it's everybody from the cast to the crew to the makeup to the special effects. Everybody. So really
getting this show on air 2.5 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like so rapid through COVID lockdowns and God knows what. Like
yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, amazing.
Right, congratulations. We were very happy, weren't we?
We were
messaging each other like we.
I know. We spent all Sunday just messaging each other pictures of the cast looking amazing. Have you seen this dress? Have you seen this suit? Loving it. Oh my god, Ada again. I think I've got such a girl crush on Ada. It's unreal.
I know. Bit of leg slip there from Ada. She's
I
loving
know.
it.
Yeah, she looks amazing
in that popping green. Do you know Mac's dress that just
that was
intense
gorgeous.
yellow?
Yeah,
I tell you what, she pulled that off
it was gorgeous.
amazingly well. Yeah.
Definitely. They all looked amazing. They all looked so happy.
They did.
I just that made my day, honestly. Just seeing all of that absolutely made my day. So yeah, well done.
I imagine that'll be us at the podcast awards next year.
Oh, of course. Just imagine it, can you?
Yeah, me in a bright yellow number. Doing the red carpet. Oh dear me. Yeah,
I can see it now.
Right, before we get on to the headlines for this week, a little bit of an announcement for our listeners this week, haven't we? So, next week, would you believe, will be our first anniversary episode, 1 whole year of Coastal News.
Happy birthday, Coastal News.
Happy birthday. Never thought we'd make it. So the fact that we're here, still loving it, and our audience is still loving it, has grown and grown and grown over this past year. Yes, thank you very much. So we've got a bit of a celebration planned, haven't we, Sophie? We've been hard at work for several weeks now, planning loads of extra stuff for you guys, loads of extra content, a giveaway, our first ever giveaway here on the podcast. So look out for details on that on next week's episode. What else have we got? There's something else. What else is it?
Well, we've got bonus content. We've got the giveaway. What else have we got? I can't think.
We're going to be opening up, aren't we? The sort of paid subscriber episodes for a limited time, so that if you're not a subscriber, you can still enjoy all of Sophie's scoop and her hard work, her investigative journalism that she's done over the months. You're going to have a chance to just basically get your hands on everything, basically. No hold barred. And some of the extra stuff we've recorded for you guys, we're playing games, we're having a laugh, and there's some extra episodes called In Conversation where you get to know Sophie and I a little bit better. So there's some really good stuff, lots of it, like you will not be disappointed. So thank you. It's a big thank you from both of us for your support.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And for getting involved with all the chat on Twitter as well. We really enjoy that, don't we? Yeah,
we do. Right. Shall we get you your headlines? Are you ready?
I am just about.
I'm really interested to see what you've got to say this week. Right. Mac gets into some very hot water as she tried to play PK at his own games. Sorry, I wrote these in the back of a taxi about 25 minutes ago. Theo lets his music juices flow. That's why I've just said that, because I'm like, that's a really bad headline.
I love it.
And Logan gets investigated by crash investigators. And it looks like Martha's getting that new kidney, Sophie.
Finally! Oh, thank God for that. Woohoo!
So, top of the week, Mac has learnt, hasn't she, that the house didn't lose. She's been had. And she vows through gritted teeth, through venom, through anger, to get back at PK. She's going to play him back, and she's going to get that 50 grand back.
Yeah.
Forget about the hand job. And she's going to get him round, and she's going to get him back to Seoul, and she's going to get her money back. And she's confident that she's badass enough to pull it off, isn't she? At that point.
Yeah.
Dean's at it. I'm just going to call the boys. Let's just beat the pulp out of him. But no, she won't have it. And, she wants her to take control of it. And I thought I thought I like this side to Mac because she tries to sort of display, doesn't she, that she's this strong, badass woman, but often actually ends up doing something else, and we've criticised her for that. And then I thought, come on then, girl, show him what you've got. And she gets him round, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Let's have a talk, you know. And, you know, she says to him, I've got a proposition. Win-win. We'll do another night, do another poker night. He puts his hand on her leg. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Creep.
Did you
creep. Yes. Skin crawled. Oh, yeah.
And so she says to him, you know, win-win. I get my 50k, you get the profits. And he goes, no, girl. You don't call the shots, I do.
Yeah.
So, like, and you're just thinking, piece of work. What did you think of this? Particularly this bit where they're trying to negotiate what's going to happen, because he basically says to her, this restaurant's mine, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And we know you don't touch Mac's restaurant, don't you? So we know that she will defend that with her life, but I don't know. I was kind of screaming at the TV. I was a bit cross with Mac this week, a bit cross that she thought she could take him on. I know we keep saying we like the feisty Mac, we like it, but I don't know. I just don't think. I think she was overconfident going into that situation this week.
Naively so, probably, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a bit like, oh, come on. She doesn't really know who she's dealing with. And this is the whole thing that Flick has been trying to warn her. You know, we don't know who this guy is. We don't even know his name. We don't know what he's capable of. He's come out of nowhere. Yeah. Obviously, and Nathan, prior to this, Nathan had already warned her off and she didn't listen.
I know. Nathan had warned her off. Flick had warned her off. Yeah. And as it turns out, we were surmising on last week's episode whether Nathan was friend or foe, weren't we? Yeah. And it turns out Nathan's also under the same blackmail spell.
Yeah.
You know, when Rose has looked him up, you know, the only thing she could find in him was some money problems.
Yes. Yeah.
Introducing PK.
Has magically been sorted, because it said it looked like he was on his way to jail at one point, didn't it? And then all of a sudden somebody's swooped in and fixed all his problems, and we're obviously putting two and two together and thinking PK's done that, so he's working for him. That, because I've said all along they don't feel like they're friends. It doesn't feel like an even relationship.
Yeah.
So
you did, didn't you? And obviously then I was like, yes, you were right. I was watching it. I literally like, Soap's right.
For a change.
You know, there was something else there, and he basically PK's the puppet master, and in a nutshell, because of this debt, he was gonna sort of control Salt, and Mac would have become another puppet master, you know, and they'd have probably used Salt for money laundering, gambling, and it would have all gone through there, wouldn't it? So now we've got the motive and the reason for them using that venue. You know, we'd be like, why would they do this? And obviously it makes sense now. They would need the place under their control so they can disguise all the other bad stuff that they get up to. I tell you, there's loads of sort of things weaving and the sort of the web of this storyline, because there's all sorts of parallel stuff going on that all culminates into something, which we'll talk about in a sec. But that moment where she looks like she's going to come clean to Logan, doesn't she? And she walks him and she says, look, I've not been honest with you. Yeah. I'm in a lot of debt, you know. And he says, well, I know, you know, I paid off the guy for you. Yeah. And she's like, and she's almost about to tell him, but stops herself. Yeah. Which later on will come on to bite her in the ass a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
That scene, what did you make of that scene? Because at that scene, I was a bit like, oh, come on, girl. Come on now. This has gone on far enough.
I kind of get what she was saying, because at the same time as Max got all this going on, we do know that Logan has got this huge, you know, guilt. Is it my fault that I caused this accident? This, you know, it's, as we were saying recently, it's been a bit odd that the Mac hasn't really been involved in Logan's crash storyline. I mean, a girl died, for God's sake, and her boyfriend was driving the car. You'd think that she'd be worried about that.
I know.
So it's a bit odd that they're kind of keeping those two storylines separately, but that's the reason why, isn't it? She says to Ziggy, he's got so much going on. He's got the accident happening and looming over his head. He doesn't need this right now. So I kind of got why she didn't tell him, but at the same time I was like, well, when is a good time to tell someone that anyway?
I know, and that seems to be their first interaction since the car crash, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think
are they filming in bubbles or something?
It is odd, isn't it? It is a bit weird that we didn't see her go to the hospital. I mean, I know we did have a scene in the hospital where Jasmine said, right, I'm phoning Mac, and Logan said, what, in the middle of the the lunch shift at Salt? I don't think so. I'm fine. Let her, leave her be. I'll talk to her later. So that was like our explanation as to why Mac wasn't in the hospital. But then he was released from hospital and we still didn't see them together. She didn't even mention him when she was at Salt. She was talking about the poker night. She wasn't talking about her boyfriend that's just had a fatal car accident with, a girl dying. It's all very odd. But
it is, isn't it? And it stops you buying into them two as a couple, and obviously I think we're ending up in a place where they've been keeping things from each other. You've been saying this a lot to me. It's lie after lie.
Absolutely. And for me it feels like Mac is kind of fighting with herself about who she is, because on the one hand she's this badass independent woman, don't need no man, I don't need to tell people about my debt problems. I can handle this all by myself. I don't need Logan's help. But then when things were getting nasty over the money with PK and Nathan and everything, she was batting her eyelids at them two and going, I don't know anything. I'm just a silly girl, and like hoping they'd let her off the hook. And I was like, you can't be both. You can't be looking for somebody to, bat your eyelashes at and them save you, while also being independent woman. I don't need anything, I can cope. She kind of tries to play both sides.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. I concur with everything you're saying. And she even then, from all this stuff, she even says the line, I've just realised I love him.
I know,
but I've been lying to him. And you're like, listen to yourself. Are you someone who's in control of your life or not? You're right. It's a personal battle of hers, isn't it?
I don't think she really knows who she is, because I think a lot of it is front, isn't it? A lot of Mac's character is front. This is my restaurant, I'm in charge. I think a lot of that confidence is probably an act.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just get this impression, and then underneath she is vulnerable and she would like somebody to save her, but she's too proud to ask for help. Or
she's an onion. Do you know what? I do love her though. I'd rather that than some 2D.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely.
Nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shall not mention her name again.
Get over it. She's in the past.
She's in New Zealand.
Oh yeah. With more parameters than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Well, do you know that moment where she goes from that scene at the hospital and then she goes back to Salt, and on her way through the Surf Club, Dean and Ziggy just lurking around, and she said, there's that scene, and she says, and Dean's like, just let me sort it out for you,
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm getting this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can I tell you, I feel disgusting that I even went there.
Yeah, I did feel bad for her then, because I can just imagine how that must have felt. Like she did essentially almost agree to sell herself to him, and that must feel really, really horrible. And I think it reminded me later on when Rose was warning Flick. When Rose had done some digging on Nathan.
Yeah.
And Rose said something like, I can't remember the line exactly, but she said, when people get involved in this, they'll stoop to anything. They're desperate and they'll stoop to anything when they owe this much money. And that made me think of Mac. Yeah, they will, because look at what Mac did. She almost sold herself to this guy.
Yeah, that was like a heed's dead warning. People will do anything.
Yeah.
Even to those that they love the most.
Exactly.
And then we sort of fast forward from all this. PK's not bought it, and then suddenly a couple of heavies turned up at closing.
Yeah.
And I thought it was Balbazar again. I was like, oh. But it wasn't.
No, two randoms, I think, was it? I don't think we've seen them before, have we?
No, I don't think so. Pulled out a knife.
Yeah, it was like something I cut carrots with in the kitchen. It wasn't a very scary looking knife. I guess any knife is scary, isn't it, really? But
yeah.
That's not a knife.
This is a knife. Do you know, I'm glad it was a knife, though, because I thought guns is a bit, we've done that many a time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, gunpoint robbery and all that. We've done that a lot, haven't we? So I'm glad it was a knife, actually, on reflection. She turns over the contents of the till and they're sort of on their knees, arms in the air. I'm stressing out, palpitating on the sofa.
Oh, no.
As Salt is being literally smashed up and destroyed in front of my eyes. And I'm like, what the hell?
I'm glad it was, though, weren't you? Because at one point it was looking like Flick and Tane were heading out the door, and it wasn't until they started to smash stuff and Tane and Flick were like, what's up there? Let's go and have a look. Although, mind you, it probably escalated a lot worse after that. But if they hadn't heard that, they wouldn't have known there was anything going on.
Yeah, that's right, because they're locking the gym up downstairs, hear the noise, go up to investigate, and a scuffle. Dean sort of sees his moment to jump up while they're distracted with the arrival of Tane and Flick, and tries to, and obviously rugby tackles one of them to the ground. Everybody starts fighting, and in amongst it all, it looks like said knife, said carrot chopper, ends up stabbing Tane.
Yeah,
I was a bit stressed about this last night because
I'm a lot stressed.
I was thinking, what, and obviously it made for great dramatic viewing.
Yeah.
And then we've seen on tonight's 5 Star, so the fallout, because it sort of seemed then, didn't it? End cliffhanger. Tane's been stabbed. What the hell do we do? And then there's this morality thing at play tonight. I felt, where it was, do we ring 000? We can't ring 000 because then they're going to know what we've been up to. And they've got to ring Logan, and everyone's screaming at Mackenzie to say, you're going to have to tell him. And this is where I think we saw a bit of Logan's. The reason why you and I liked Logan at the beginning, I think, was because I think he's a bit jokey, a bit jovial, but I think he knows when to just go with something, when to just accept the information and ask questions later. I think he demonstrated that really, and that's probably the doctor in him, calm under pressure,
And the army training, I guess, as well.
Army training, good point. Yeah, good point. So he's turned up, and he's obviously got all these questions.
Yeah.
I've seen your tweets tonight. Like, he's getting information overload.
I know.
He's finding out he's got a stab wound patient. He can't ring 000. Something's not quite kosher about the whole thing. Mackenzie's telling him that, she's in it up to her eyeballs. Like, what is the poor guy going to do?
I know. I did feel for him, but he is great in a crisis. I mean, if you're having a crisis, blooming hell, you phone Logan, don't you? Because he just took it on the chin. He's holding somebody's who's bleeding out. He's holding their wound shut. He's listening to his girlfriend, getting upset, hearing about all these poker nights and everything that's been going on, hearing that his girlfriend's been lying to him for weeks. He took it really bloody well, didn't he? Considering
he did.
And also now he's realizing that he's going to have to keep this whole thing a secret. Is this something he could get in trouble for with the hospital by not?
He's now implicit, right?
Yeah.
So he's now part of a big cover up. He's even now part of going a theft from the hospital.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Because he sent Dean over for supplies.
Yeah.
And
he's in it up to his eyeballs now, isn't he?
So he's now, and it's really, really, really selfish of Mac to do this to him.
It is.
Actually,
Yeah.
Ultimately, Tane needs that attention. That emergency attention. He's lying on the restaurant floor, stabbed. So he can't not comply. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself in Logan's shoes, and I'm thinking you couldn't not comply. What do
He
you do?
can't.
Say no, this is
Well-
wrong, and walk away, and a guy dies.
I don't think he can, because they take the Hippocratic Oath, doctors. So it means that they have to treat anybody.
Yeah.
They can't turn it down. You know, even if it's someone that's murdered your mum a minute ago, you still have to help them. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's mad. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think he can walk away, but it's going to have a knock on, isn't it, for him?
Yeah. And Ziggy is now. We could have done without this, if I'm being honest.
I
Like,
know.
Logan could have just gone and got some supplies without any real suspicion, other than a couple of things in the stockroom being unaccounted for. But now we've
Yeah.
had Dean go in. The police interjected Dean and Flick on their way out. So they're already sus, aren't they, Rose and Cash? Finally.
Yeah.
So Dean's ended up then drafting Ziggy to the hospital to fake an illness to distract all the nurses in the ED so that he can sneak in and steal the IV and whatever. Come on.
I know. I think it's just making sure that everybody's as guilty as everybody else, isn't it? These are all the people that have been involved in the Poker Nights from the beginning.
Yeah.
And now they're all complicit in the end of it, I think. Is that where we... I don't know.
Every single one of half the cast here are in deep, deep doo-doo.
And if you think about it in a kind of metaphorical thing, they've all got Tane's blood on their hands now.
Yes,
they?
that's true.
So...
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because obviously later on, Logan's patched him up, and they've managed to get him back to Casa Parata.
Yeah.
And Tane's calling out Ferrari.
Oh, I knew something was wrong with him. I knew there was something wrong with him, because he started to look, at one point he started to look okay, and then he started to look very sweaty and grey. And then when he was talking to Nico and he was saying, oh, he's going to be really mad at me, and I knew before he said his name, I was like, oh no, he's forgotten Ari's dead. Oh, I knew that was
gone a bit delirious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the trailer implies that there's now going to be a bedroom blood transfusion. I mean,
stressful.
Honestly, like, stress levels are so high, Sophie. Like, what are we going to do? Is Tane going to pull through?
I hope so. I don't think I can last the weekend without knowing, though, so I might have to Google it.
And Flick, I know this is it, you see, the Friday cliffhanger. But Flick's already pointing the finger over the bed, you know, and she's not wrong. Like, Mac, you did this. This is you. This is on you, she says to her.
I know, but then Dean took her to one side, and I think it was in the trailer. I'm not sure whether it was tonight. I can't remember now because I'm just so traumatized by what's going on. I can't remember what was before and after. But Dean sort of said to Mac, you know, she was just saying that because she's scared. You know, it's not true. And I was like, it is actually true. It is kind of true. You know, it's her fault that everybody's been caught up. You know, Mac's in debt. Mac's about to lose the restaurant, but half the bay is caught up in this poker night fiasco. So she has been selfish. She's only been thinking about herself and getting out of debt, you know, and now her friend could possibly die.
Yeah,
that is her fault.
And I think Logan's going to walk away here.
Oh,
I think it's his end game.
Absolutely. Like the position that she's putting him tonight, I just can't see them coming back from that. Can you?
No. Because I would be frothing at the mouth if I was Logan.
She was literally warned. She was warned by Nathan. She was warned by Flick. She was warned by Dean. And she's just forged ahead thinking, oh, I'm smarter, I'm better, I can get him. You know, it's backfired massively.
Absolutely. And I think PK has shown her that she's a small fish swimming in large waters. You
Absolutely,
know, this has properly put her in a place.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh dear, take a drink. Take a drink. Blimey.
I know. I was literally on the edge of the sofa tonight. I was like, I can't move because if I move, Tani might die. Like willing him on. Come on, Logan, help him. Oh dear, stressful. I didn't really need that on a Friday night, I'll be honest. I was looking for some some escapism. Never mind.
Yep. Not this week. Not this week.
Oh dear.
Did you know that you can play Coastal News, a home and away podcast, right from your Amazon Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play Coastal News now. And of course, you can still catch your latest episodes on all other podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Castbox, Audible, Player FM, and much more. Just search Coastal News, a home and away podcast right now, wherever you get your podcasts from. Well, elsewhere in the bay, a little more softer. Theo has started to romance Chloe.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Don't know how I feel about it, if I'm being honest.
No.
She's offloading to him like she does, about Neek, and Neek's falling out with her about the diary still, that whole thing going on.
Yeah.
And, he's like, work yourself out, basically. And he whisks her off for a romantic picnicker. Sorry, that's because I'm reading my notes here. Romantic picnic. And serenades her with Justin's guitar, of all things.
I know, which inadvertently ruined Justin and Leah's romantic plans, didn't it?
Yeah, they're naughty evening in.
He was like, I'll cook you dinner. Where's my guitar? Like, okay, it's over. Very easily distracted.
Put an end to Leah's simmer.
It did a bit, didn't it?
And considering they were at it like rabbits at some point.
I know. Yeah, they would. Yeah, used to not be able to keep their hands off each other, didn't they?
Well, luckily Theo comes home just in the nick of time and sort of says, "I only borrowed it." And then this sort of discussion about mutual, creativity, musicness, I will call it. And Theo opens up a bit even more to Leah and Justin, and he talks about his dad wouldn't let him. His dad broke. Did his dad break his guitar? Did he say?
He said he chopped it up with an axe and then burned it in the backyard. I mean, and we knew this guy was a piece of work. I mean, obviously hitting Theo was just appalling, but he just didn't encourage him to do anything. Like literally the opposite of that, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a strict academic, way of being, and this creative side of Theo has been suppressed. So he's sort of like we've unleashed a beast here now.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about it, what is trashing? So Theo has said he's bought that guitar with his own money. So presumably he's had a job or something to save up for this guitar, bought it himself, and then, trying to teach himself to learn to play. I mean, the amount of discipline involved in saving up money when you're a teenager and then self-teaching guitar. And then for him to just smash it into smithereens. I mean, what kind of message is that sending anyway? It's just
awful. Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah, absolutely horrible, horrid. And it makes Leah. I think even Leah. Who was she talking to later? And she says, I just keep hearing that was it.
Yeah,
I just keep hearing things about my brother. Over and over. And she says to Theo, you can play here whenever you want. It's not going to annoy us. And he and Justin have this, moment where they
don't go to work.
Yeah.
He said the day off to play guitar.
Yeah.
I want that boss. I want a boss that let me have a day off.
To be fair, that's a better excuse than usual.
True.
Singing, Leah comes home and she just catches the happy family forming in front of her eyes. And Justin offers him the guitar, says it's yours. And I just thought that was a really good moment about how how full circle moment in the story, and how great Justin is for him and how far they've come.
Absolutely.
I was reading as well that I was reading something online during the week about James Stewart, who plays Justin.
Oh yeah.
Was recently asked about all this Theo business.
Yeah.
Don't know if you saw it. No,
I don't think so. I read something about Matt Evans recently, but not James.
Well, he said, we've spoken on here about this storyline would have gone so much different if Aidan Nicodemus didn't need to be out of the way, at the beginning.
Yeah.
And he said, yes, this whole thing was rewritten, and they got a bet. And he said in this interview that he felt like they got a much better story out of it.
Oh.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I agree.
And I agree as well. Yeah, I was about to say that. So Theo seems to be settling in now, settling down. I think it's going to take him some time to really sort of get on with his life. I think you don't just play a guitar and get over that. I think that's going to have some repercussions. Looks like he and Chloe are going to become an item, which I think is going to really grate on me.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, I'll be honest.
No, however, other than the couple of scenes where he sang to her, Chloe this week, it's been bloody amazing.
That's true. Yeah, she hasn't been in it much, has she? I just don't know. Obviously, he's smitten with her. He has been since he met her, hasn't he? He's been, you know, looking at her differently. But I just, does she really like him, or is this just another game? Is this just because?
Well, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the golden question, because you were saying she was sort of doing the whole sneaky, smirky smile last week.
She was, yeah. I watched it again on Monday, I think it was. And it looks like it's a game. I don't know. I just think
can't trust that girl.
She needs the attention. She just, and it's so annoying because, you know, last week or the week before when Mia left and she was like, oh, I can start afresh. I'm not going to do this anymore. Now my mum's gone. I mean, we knew it was rubbish, didn't we? We knew that it was, you know, not true. Yeah. But she really hasn't changed. So it's just proved again that her mum wasn't the problem. She's, you know, there's something wrong with this girl.
Yeah,
isn't there?
There is. Yeah, deeply. Yeah. Well, and ultimately, she still murdered someone and she's walking free, which is just, that's a no-no in my book.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right, turns out that the car that Logan was driving was from Justin.
Yeah.
And what you reckon in here? Faulty stuck needle, faulty speedometer? I don't know.
I can't call this at all because I still think that they're not showing us the accident for a reason, because we only saw the aftermath of it, didn't we? We only saw the two cars kind of at the side of the road all bashed up. We didn't actually see what happened. So I don't know. Part of me is thinking, are we going to see that in a flashback later and we're going to see the cause of the accident? Or is it Justin's car? You know, there's something wrong with it. I don't know. I mean, I'm all over the place with this. I can't predict it. Can you?
Yeah, no, I can't land on an answer.
No,
because there's so many things it could be at this stage, and this is one of those things where something bad's happened, and we're having to backtrack and being drip fed information, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we're not being drip fed in the usual obvious, like you say, flashbacks or anything.
Yeah.
And that might come, like you said, but we're being drip fed this information via characters and conversation. Yes. So it's one of those. It's probably like a B story, you know, behind all the other high drama going on. But actually, it's a good one for us as an audience to get our teeth into and try and guess what's gone on, you know. But yes, he's driving the car, and Cash turns up and says he needs a word because the crash investigators have been in touch and they believe that he was speeding. And he says, "No way, no way, no way. I can't remember. I couldn't tell you for sure." But I don't speed. And I suppose on those, you know, I mean, these days they could probably get that information from all sorts, not just tire tracks and things, but like your phone.
Yeah. There's different ways of being able to tell now, isn't there? But I don't know. I mean, was he looking at his speedo at the time? I don't know. You just don't know whether he was. It could be that. It just doesn't seem.
It's just gone round like the bend,
else. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Something's gone on that caused that it just doesn't sit right. And he's gone and tried to quiz Millie while she's in bed, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And sort of tried to say, what do you remember? What do you remember? Xander turns up. Xander's really pecking my head with this. I am getting fed up to the hilt of him.
He's a bit obsessive,
and it's come from absolutely nothing. And Xander sort of says, "What you doing talking to her? What you doing?" And then he and Logan have this little blow up, and Logan says, "Who do you think you are?"
Yeah. And let's be honest, Xander's trying to get a job in a hospital as well, so he's not doing himself any favours by having a go at a potential new boss, is he?
Exactly. She's not your patient. Well, she's not yours either, kid. You know. Like,
yeah.
it's not the way to go about, you know.
No.
That Xander's way too invested. Jasmine's onto it, like, and even says to her after having a nice heart-to-heart with John.
Yeah.
You know, she pulls him aside. John says, "You've got to tell him if he's your brother," you know, and all the rest of it. Seems like a nice chap. And she says, "Look, you know, you're out of line. Point blank, you're out of line. You're too invested in this girl. You need to take a step back." He just brushes it off. I just think it's a bit creepy.
It is a bit creepy. I can't work out whether we've got a kind of stalking storyline coming up, like he's a bit obsessed with her, and you know, or whether maybe it's something that's triggered him, like some kind of trauma in him, something that he's been through, and he's empathetic, but it's traumatizing. I don't know. I can't. I'm on both sides of the coin here, thinking it could be either.
Yeah, I think, you know, I've made my mind up this week. I think he's darker than he's portrayed.
Do you think?
Yeah, Stalker's probably something in that realm. I think he's got an obsessive personality.
Do you think he's a bit of an overprotective boyfriend type?
Yeah, I think he's one of those. He's a gaslight.
Oh no! My type then.
Something's not right, Sophie. Something's not right. Everything looks calm and serene on the outside.
Yeah.
But I think he's a bit odd.
I don't know. I just don't know whether he's a bit too sensitive, because you know that whole thing where he threw up in the bin, didn't he, at the hospital after the accident, when Millie said, "Oh, you should have helped my friend." And you know you're a terrible paramedic, and he got really upset about that, and when he threw up in the bin, didn't he? I can't work out whether maybe he's just not cut out to be a paramedic, and he is a bit too sensitive, gets a bit too involved. I don't know whether it's that. Maybe he's just too, I don't know, or whether he's got this, like you say, this dark side where.
Yeah, I think there's a secret.
Do you?
Yeah, I think there's something going on. We'll know in a few weeks, I suppose, whether he's right. But Millie, on one of his many visits back to see her, Millie's gone. Bed's empty.
Yeah.
And there she is, walking into the sea.
Oh God!
Alla Mia.
Yeah. Very dramatic.
And Neek, you know.
Yeah.
You're sick of the heat, which is my new favourite catchphrase. Neek, bless him, full on lifeguard mode. I'm not going to talk much about Neek's job being a lifeguard. He's going to get paid for it instead. I'm done. I'm not putting him on the bill. It's a bit boring.
I'm not interested in that storyline at all, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even write any notes about it. There we go. We've mentioned it. But he did save Millie.
He did. Yeah. Well, he got her out of the water. I think it was Xander that actually brought her back to life, wasn't it?
He did the old CPR with no mouth to mouth because COVID.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? I was like,
yeah.
There's no mouth to mouth because COVID. You know, she's saved, and ultimately it was a little bit. It was a tad comical. However, and we've been a little bit jovial here, you know, summarizing it. But ultimately, Millie has gone and tried to end her own life there because she feels the guilt. She is blaming herself for the accident and killing her friend.
Yeah.
And that forces, because just before all this has gone down, Jasmine has told Xander
that made me cross.
Logan, me too, that Logan has been in touch, you know, they've been in touch with Logan about his speeding. You just knew, didn't you, at that point, right? Xander's going to tell her.
I know. I was actually a bit cross with Logan for telling Jasmine, because I was like, I don't think you should be telling. I don't know, because of the I know they're friends outside of work, but in work he's her boss, isn't he?
Yeah.
And she's dating a copper, so I was like, I don't know whether you should be telling Jasmine that, you know, you're being investigated in the first place. And then Jasmine definitely shouldn't have just gone and told her brother that.
I know.
just so angry. And then the fact that he blurted it out, to Millie, it's not your fault.
And,
The other
and
driver's.
Jasmine's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's her fault. She shouldn't have told him.
No. And you could see in her face, like, for sake, like, I can't believe you've just done that.
Yeah. I think she's as much to blame as Xander, to be honest, because she should have kept her mouth shut.
Yeah, I agree, actually. Yeah, I think you're right. As much as Xander's really getting on my wick now.
Yeah.
With where Millie's concerned.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Of the two of them, you and I have spoken a bit since Rose and Xander turned up. Of the two of them, Xander was the one that we were warming to the most.
I know.
And this has just confused me end.
I know. I liked both of them when they first arrived, and now I'm like, oh no, they're both going to end up being not very nice people, and I'm going to be kicking myself. But it's usually the way around, isn't it? Like with Theo, when Theo turned up and we weren't very keen on him, and now we love him, and now it's the complete opposite with these two.
I just don't get it.
No.
I think you and I are on the same page all around here, aren't we? We can't really give a balanced view because we're both feeling such a strong reaction to him. But he's out of order, and he needs to put out. He's not even employed by anyone. And actually,
no.
I actually cheered Logan on when he said to him, "She's not your patient either."
Yeah.
In fact, I'd have got bloody security and got him removed from the hospital.
Yes.
I'll speak to whoever. Not that I'm saying Logan's questioning her was in any way a good intention.
No.
He was obviously fishing for things, and that's a different matter, right?
They're both in the wrong. Yeah. They both should be leaving her alone, shouldn't they? Really?
Yeah.
They're both involved at the accident. If this goes to court or whatever,
she should have a different doctor. Absolutely.
Yeah, they should both be leaving her alone, because Xander is a witness, essentially, isn't he, to the aftermath? So...
But Xander's got no right to even be on the hospital premises.
No, he hasn't. No, and he's not family, so I don't even know why he's allowed in there. Yeah.
Nuts. Absolute nuts. Yeah, I'm glad you feel the same, because I've been sitting here boiling my piss, really.
Lovely.
Watching it. Sorry. Cut. I'm just so angry with him. So angry. This week's got me all emotions watching Holmes. Creepy.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Martha's finally warmed up to going back to Dr. Jessie.
Oh yeah, I like Dr. Jessie.
I do. Can he stay?
I was going to say, can we make him more permanent? We need more doctors, especially if Logan's out the door soon. So I'm wondering whether we can keep him.
Yeah, let's keep Jessie.
I like him.
And so there's a cancellation. That age-old. There's a cancellation today. Just got off the phone. So in they go. And is it Rue who complains about being treated like a pincushion? Yes. And swiftly find out that everything is a-okay. They're at their magic 80%.
Yeah.
And they're booked in for the transplant next week.
Oof. Yeah. Finally.
I'm still not celebrating that I was right yet. It's not happened.
I know it's not quite happened yet, but I can't wait for it to be over and us to never talk about it ever again. I'm so done with this kidney. I'm almost about to cut mine out and post it to Sydney.
It's been a long one, hasn't it? It's been a long one. Do you know when this it stems from the chemical leak, doesn't it, at New Year?
Which is ages ago. Yeah.
I've been listening back to some of our old podcast apps, trying to prepping for the anniversary. And it all kicks off. First episode of season 2 of this podcast is the gas attack unfolding and Martha taking ill. So it stems back from January. So the fact that we're now in July nearly.
Yeah.
This is long going for Home and Away, really. We're normally quite fast paced with our storylines.
Yeah. If this was Hollyoaks, she'd have had a kidney within 3 days, It'd have been bought off of the back of a van, but she'd have had one.
What's the pub called? Hollyoaks.
Dog in the Pond.
Dog in the Pond. I was going to say Black Swan. Affairs.
Oh yeah, Black Swan was Family Affairs, wasn't it?
Yeah, I knew.
Yeah.
It was something Swan. The White Swan. I don't know. Yeah, it would have definitely been done in the old pub there.
Yeah.
Sorted out nice and fast over on Hollyoaks. Rue's talking about, how's Alf going to cope with the bait shop, the caravan park, now that Ryder's gone.
I know.
Don't mention Ryder's name. I'm still not over it.
Still not over it. No.
And it's only days, literally days ago he left. And I was thinking, is anyone going to get a call off Ryder? I was like, the whole week I was like, Ryder going to call and say that he got on the boat? No. We're just going to mention his name when
we do know he's on the boat, because we've seen, Chloe's seen a picture of his room and she said it was really small. So we know he got there okay, but we don't know whether he's enjoying it yet.
Just a nice boy. He would have called his Auntie Rue.
I know. And you think they'd call him with the news? Like, she's got a kidney and it's next week. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm not happy. But it was nice for him to remember 4 days after he left. And so, and he's like, just shut up. Yeah. Tell me where to be. She's making spreadsheets. Tell me where to be, what day, I'll sort it. And I think it's Rue being Rue. She's worrying about everybody else. She's about to go and have kidney surgery.
Not small surgery.
Yeah. And she's making spreadsheets about her father and where, bless her. So I think Maz could maybe do with giving up some of her coffee cart shifts.
Yes, I think they're going to need her help, aren't they?
I loved it as well, where the other day this coffee cart's outside and it's clearly absolutely bucketing it down.
Yes.
They're all sitting there pretending it's not.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely out here. I was thinking, you look so cold. You need a coffee because it's freezing.
And the poor actors have to do that so that we live vicariously through this.
I know. Well, it's always summer and summer Bay. It has to be, doesn't it? So
always summer and summer Bay, absolutely. So I'll be interested to see this week in our sort of first look segment, which is coming up very, very shortly. What day is Martha getting that transplant? Rue's sort of talking about her recovery being quite long to Alf.
Yeah.
So what kind of help?
I want it to be Wednesday because I think midweek kidney transplant, that could be good.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have overspill from Tane drama Monday into Tuesday. Then that'll be on to them again, I reckon. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Wednesday, Thursday, all wrapped up by Friday nicely. Yeah.
I agree. Tell you what, should we find out?
Yeah.
Right, it's time for First Look, where we have a chance to have a look what's happening on Home and Away next week, and if that transplant will be on Wednesday or not. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Logan prepares a drastic sacrifice to try and save Logan's life. Hang on a minute. Who is writing these?
A sacrifice?
I'm sorry, Sophie, they don't even know the name of the characters. I'm topping the drink up.
Is Logan helping himself? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Did you say Logan twice?
Yes. They mean Tane's life, don't they?
Yeah,
Logan prepares a drastic sacrifice.
A goat?
That is.
A
Can
goat?
you get that in a drip? A goat.
Sacrifice a goat to the gods of, I don't know, drug lords?
Logan prepares a drastic sacrifice to try and save Logan's life. They mean Tane.
Who writes these?
Do they know we're
we should take this job.
They're doing this on purpose to mess our podcast up.
They must be.
Mackenzie goes on the warpath against PK.
Oh.
Dean faces a new and sickening threat.
Is that because Mackenzie's run her mouth off again?
Maybe. Monday looks just as nuts as tonight.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I can't wait to see Logan's self-surgery.
Sacrifice surgery.
Do you think it's like when, a lady gets a little pocket mirror out?
Possibly.
Have you ever looked at yourself? This has taken a weird turn. I'm going to move on to Tuesday very quickly. Dean plots his own style of revenge.
Oh, the boys!
Yes, River
boys are back in town. Yes, come on, boys. I hope so.
Leaving Mackenzie behind, Marilyn helps Rue calm down from a frantic panic.
What are we panicking about, mate? Oh no! Does that mean Martha's not having a good time under the knife? Oh no! Are we? Oh!
Come on, Marilyn, get the sage going.
What day is that? Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Theo
worries about the friend zone. Oh, that's going to be it.
Oh no.
Wednesday, Theo works to escape from the friend zone.
Oh no, that sounds very dodgy.
Xander discovers a new twist in the tale of Millie's car crash.
Oh, okay.
There we go then. You're right, something's gone on with that Joe girl before, isn't there?
I don't know. I just think because we haven't seen the crash, I'm so suspicious about what happened. I want to see it in a flashback. I want to know what happened.
We need to know the deets, don't we? You're right. You had it nailed from the beginning, though, didn't you? This isn't what it looks like.
No, I just don't understand. Yeah.
As soon as it happened, you said to us on here, this isn't what it looks like, guys,
I just don't think that with the other two drivers just walking away, I mean, they've both been in hospital, but they're not exactly life-threatening illnesses, no broken bones, anything really, and then this girl drops dead. I'm just not buying it.
Yeah, they've not got a scratch on them.
Yeah.
Leah attempts to help Rue stay calm before her surgery, so Leah's getting involved as well.
Okay.
Xander's attempts to help end up making things much worse.
Oh dear.
And Millie debates letting Logan take the fall for her.
Oh,
so it is Millie's fault then?
It is Millie's. What's she done? Oh, I'm dying to know.
The Stewart family finished prepping for surgery.
My word, how long?
Another week of that, yeah.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
I can't wait because it's just all kicking off at the minute anyway.
I just need this kidney over and done with, and I can't keep being. I just need that kidney in Martha ASAP.
Somebody out there, just make it happen.
Just do it. I can't cope with this anymore. It's just too much.
Oh dear. Well, that's all we've got time for. We've exhausted from discussing all this and watching it this week. It's been an intense week in the Bay. If you've not caught up, why on earth are you listening to this podcast? Get caught up on My 5 now, and then come back and listen.
Yeah,
I'm telling you this at the end. So
a bit late maybe, but never mind.
Thanks for listening. As always, subscribe the episode and the podcast wherever you get your podcast from, and just to make sure you don't miss an episode. If you want to subscribe for extra content, extra episodes, you can do in the link in the episode description below. 99p gets you access to all the episodes so far. And last week's the latest sort of bonus content went up. We were talking about Chris Harrington, his health problems, and so much cocaine. It was laughable, or whatever the comment was.
Yeah, I think they said it was gross.
Yeah, that's it. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
That was it. Interesting. So check that out. Subscribe below. If you're already subscribed, you've got a new episode there waiting for you. We will be back next week for our anniversary special episode, and with more details of all the celebrations we've got planned for you. Stick around, keep in touch at Coastal News Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.